Gamer here, and today I want to talk about, well, something a little bit out of the blue for me. I want to talk about another game developer slash publisher that I think Netflix should acquire. This is obviously one that we never spoke about this one on the channel because obviously they've not actually brought any games to Netflix yet. But they were a huge company back for Stadia. Stadia was obviously a company that they supported really well. And this is obviously Outright Games. Outright Games, for those who don't know, is a game developer and publisher who makes games based on child-friendly IP, stuff like Peppa Pig, Cocomelon, and Paw Patrol, and stuff like that. Now, why this is relevant is obviously Netflix games currently lacks a nice portfolio of games aimed at children, and as Netflix is obviously looking at expanding its game portfolio and what it can make games on, Outright Games would be a good fit, in my opinion. Netflix has tons of family-friendly games that they could largely benefit from. Obviously, well, it's not family-friendly games, family-friendly IPs. Netflix could benefit from having content from turn into games for Netflix games long term. Plus, obviously, the extra revenue that Netflix could make from selling those games on platforms like Steam, PlayStation, and whatnot would be good for Netflix long term. Now, what's these IPs? Well, I think they should make games based on stuff like, obviously, the Sea Beast, which I've made a whole video about, Storybots, which I made a whole video about, among others. Now, whether Netflix will do this, obviously, we can't tell, because obviously, from what I understand, they actually sold. Outright Games was actually owned by someone else, and then they sold them for a massive increase in price. Apparently, the investors who obviously sold Outright Games, this was about 2 years ago, they made like a 12.7 times increase in their investment. So whether or not Netflix will actually be able to acquire Outright Games for a good price depends on obviously what they offer. And you can also consider the fact that Netflix probably won't be able to use the IP library of Outright Games, because Outright Games doesn't actually own the IPs they're making games of. They're making of popular content already. So to me, I'm curious to see if Netflix would ever do this. But I do think long term it'd be good investment. Obviously, Outright Games knows what they're doing. They know how to make great games. And to me, it just seems logical that Netflix would obviously try to acquire them long term. Now they do obviously focus on family games, so that'd be another sort of like linchpin to Netflix's bout. Because obviously, for those that don't know, Netflix games is obviously, like I said, mostly adult-oriented games aimed at adults and teenagers. And with games like Oxenfree 2 being like huge for Netflix, considering what they are, I feel like Netflix should obviously step a bit more and try and offer some games aimed at a younger audience, so people who are obviously younger can obviously enjoy games as well. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think Netflix should buy Outright Games? Do you think Netflix should just make a partnership with Outright Games? Do you think the fact that Netflix obviously could work with Outright Games or acquire Outright Games, do you think that's interesting? Are you interested in seeing that happen? What games would you like to see come from something like this? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. I've been Ethan Netflix Gamer, and I'm signing out. Peace.